came from, right? But they're just businesses. It's a machine. It is a machine like a lawnmower, and you can understand a lawnmower, and you can optimize a lawnmower, and you can soup it up, you can put bigger wheels on, whatever you want, okay? Just like this thing, when you understand what it wants and you give it to it, and then you add this stuff to it, this is the big difference. Most people don't get this kind of like emotional connection, and they don't get this part of it with content. It's always how to do 3 things. And sometimes I talk about that too, because at least it gets you started. Because in our brain, we're like, well, I can talk about 3 things, and then I can go from there. And then you get used to talking, and then you get used to the next level where you can bring in the juice too, right? When you look at those platforms, you have to understand that when you're looking at all these little things, the little video thumbnails, whether it's on TikTok, it doesn't matter. These are just look at it as a big advertisement platform. You're not going to be being an ad. That doesn't mean be an ad, because it's an advertisement platform. But what do you think is important if you have a bunch of boxes that people are looking at? Who said that? Stand out. Stand out. It's that simple. Just stand out. I literally will type in what I'm going to talk about, and I will look what shows up here, and I will take the common color, and I'll think, okay, I'm going to wear the opposite of that. If everybody's wearing red, I'm going to wear white, right? Something like that, or black, whatever. But when you look at this, like, that's all you're doing. So first off, we got to get somebody to like click on the thing. When you talk to all the big people, I'm talking like 20, 30 million a year people on organic content. If they can't get a thumbnail and title to work, they won't talk about anything else. If you really think about it, most of the curves go like this when they watch. They start here, they don't like what you said, and they're out. You could tell them where the Fountain of Youth is and $1 billion for free is, and they won't even hear it because they left right here. So we get all worried about the script and the ChatGPT and what we're going to say all here, and it's like we got to reverse engineer it. Get this part figured out, and if you take anything from your story, these little nuggets are what grip people. That's what I loved about yesterday. I had an aha yesterday too, and it was these little chunks. The Coinstar, are you over here? Coinstar? No? The Coinstar, going to Coinstar to feed my child. You start like that, and you can say whatever you want afterward, and they're going to hear it. They're going to hear it right here. Yeah. All of you. It's insane, all of you. Like, what is your grip piece? If you think like when you're fishing, right, you're trying to attract something to you, you got to get its attention first, and then it'll start trailing it if it's what it wants. Same thing here. And I know these analogies are silly, right? It is. Every time I talk to someone, I'm like, what's your problem? I can't find my perfect customer. And I'm like, well, we're already lost. We're not looking for it. They're looking for you, but you have to have the opening for them to feel it. If you're talking about taking he's not here, Ricardo. I think he's coming to the next group. He has a video. It was like his best video on the whole platform. And he's walking in a grocery store. Okay, so this is going to, whoever walks in a grocery store is going to connect right away. If you're a firefighter and this whole thing is all pictures and this one has a fire truck on it, your eyes instantly go here, right? So he's in a grocery store and he's like, I'm looking at this stuff in my cart, and you're wondering with a calculator if I can take it up to the front and pay for it. Boom. You look at his retention, and it was like it just stayed because you had him right there. Now you can drop the message. Literally. I ran ads. I was running 60, 70 grand a month on ads just to run ads and hoping they were going to work, right? And I didn't have a lot of money at that time, so it was like, this has to work, right? So it was nonstop testing. I would create, when I'd run an ad, and I'm telling you this because volume is so important. When I would run ads, I would create 50, 60, 70, 100, 200 ads, and I'd be running them and rotating them every 30 minutes to find out which one got clicked. Then as soon as they got clicked, I'd start changing to get them to watch farther. I'm like, okay, they're not watching the ad farther because it was that expensive to really get out there. It was like $100 would get you maybe in front of 1,000 people. Think about that. That has to connect. One day they shut my platform down because I had a guy helping me like manage it. And he logged in and they thought I was like trying to circumvent the system or something like that. And I had like $6,000 a day going and I couldn't touch my ads and they wouldn't let me shut it off. So some of you people want to do ads, but the organic's so good. The moment I shut the ads off, they were gone. This organic thing you have to master. And as much as you're going to get the emotional different pieces over here, you have to understand the system that you're playing with. If you don't, that's silly. You can be passionate about driving a car, race car. You can love it. You can tell everybody stories about how you always wanted to drive a race car. But if you don't understand that thing, the first turn, you're going to crash. You have to understand this part. This is where we've got a good balance. She'll walk around with the mirror, and I can come over here and get you the sticks and stones, right? It's just kind of how it works, okay? When you go to do this, I want you to really take. If you would have asked me the takeaway, it was that piece of paper, and I've seen that done a million times. I've made those papers myself many times. I've wrote my story so many times because she's trying to help me figure out my story. That yesterday clicked for me. I was like, that is a bucket full of hooks. Here's what I want you to understand. Quit overcomplicating this thing, okay? It's the hooks, the urgency, all that jazz. I'm telling you, and you guys have seen me shift a lot. I'm like, do this. Then I'm like, do this. And then I'm like, 5 and 3 series and all that. That whole series thing just changed. It changed like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I have to tell you. It's like if I don't tell you, I'm being irresponsible, even though it's like, oh my God, you're jerking me this way now. It's like I made all these videos, like you said, I made all these videos doing all this stuff. It's like, and it feels overwhelming right now. But when you learn that it's as simple as you're just going to attract first, the conversion comes when you bring the pieces of how you actually do it. One big misconception that happens all the time is you can't talk about the plane ride. You got to talk about the destination. I don't care how amazing the destination is. You still got to take a plane. You still got to get on the plane. You got to buckle in, oxygen mask. You got to go through that. Well, yeah. So here's what happens. So click-through rate. These are the 3 things that are until somebody screws this up. Right. Because it used to just be click-through rate and average view. I'll move in a second. It used to be just click-through rate and average view duration. And what happened was they found amazing artists to do thumbnails because thumbnails and titles is what makes this happen right here. The shiny lure, got to get the fish's attention, and then it's got to move the right way to get it to follow, right? That's the average view duration. Once you got my attention, can you keep my attention? Okay? Once you got my attention, what are you dangling to keep me watching? What are you keeping me watching for? It's like, here I am again in the grocery store, and I'm putting things in the cart, but I'm not sure if I can pay for it. But what if I was able to show you how I've seen others learn how to pay for it in this video? With it, now you've got some view duration, right? They want this to be 5% or higher. That literally puts you in an abnormal state with the algorithm. It's going to push you further. The moment your video goes out there, so you make your video, you stick it out there, in that first hour, what it's doing is it's literally going to send it out to, it's going to look at the title, the thumbnail, and then it transcribes the video, and it takes a consensus of what this video is about. All of them do this. Pinterest does this. It does not matter what platform. This is what it does. Algorithms are a lot more simple than you think. They sound all complicated and crazy, but there's a few things that it's doing. Okay, it's summarizing and it's systemizing, and then it's deciding. It's going to get an idea of what your video is about, and it's going to label it this thing. So it labels it something, and then it says, okay, we're going to put that out in front of 200 to 300 people that we think is most likely for this. If they send it out to that and it doesn't get 20 to 30 clicks, it'll dumb it down. It'll dumb it down. Why would it? If you show something to your customers and they're like, what? You're not going to push that out harder. Yeah.
So out of that 200-300, does it send it out to people like location? Does it send it out to like
there's like 2,800 parameters that it picks.
Okay, there's search criteria.
Location, how much if they send a message to a friend about something that your video might be about, if it clicked on other videos, there's a lot of variables there. Okay.
200-300 could not be your perfect customer.
It probably knows better about who your customer is than you do. It probably knows more about you than you do. I remember when I was doing the ad platform, I paid some guy that was super deep in ads, like spending, I think he was spending like 20 million a month with Facebook. He maxed out their thing. They had to move the thing. He said they know if you buy a vodka with your credit card on an airplane. It doesn't put your name and face on it, but they know that person was looking at this and then they bought that. It's insanity. That's why there's that big thing that fell apart with Facebook, like the whole data thing. Like they know you better than you do yourself, okay?
Some of the people out on YouTube that talk about the algorithm and all that stuff, they also say to, like, don't make your video public immediately. Either make it unlisted.
That's if you're
or
monetized. Because if your video is like, if you're monetized and you just pop it right away and they don't like it, you only get so many infractions, they demonetize you and that's it.
Oh,
So that's why you want to put it unlisted and then it'll check it and confirm it and say, this is good, then you can make it public.
okay, well, they were saying sometimes that it gives it a chance to read that.
It does.
It's for the algorithm too.
Yeah.
That while it's there, before it goes public, it kind of gets it out.
If you go to ChatGPT and say hour by hour, minute by minute, what does the algorithm on TikTok or YouTube or anything, what does it do hour by hour? You'll get a big enlightenment. And it's tough. It just takes time. It just takes soaking it in, figuring it out, plugging it together, because it takes both of these things. You have to understand this part, and you have to understand the vision part and the heart part and the emotion part.